Hello and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things frugal, thrifty and money saving. If you don't know me, I am Shoestring Jane. I write a blog at theshoestringcottage.com and I have a Facebook group, My Second Hand and Frugal Life. You're very welcome to come over and join if you've got an interest in all things frugal. This week's video is in collaboration with some of my favourite frugal YouTubers. You probably know most of them already. Frugal Joe, Jane, Frugal Queen at France, there's Nicola at the Frugal Cottage, Tess, Frugal Living, and Claire from Claire's Journey. I'll put their links in the description box below, so check those out and hit those subscription buttons, mine and all of theirs. And if you also hit your notification bell, you'll know each time we publish a video. So, on with the video. We decided to do a collaboration around 5 favourite frugal things. When I started thinking about it, I realised that most of my favourite things weren't actually things at all. They're more a kind of concept. But they're the things about frugality and a frugal lifestyle that give me the most pleasure and satisfaction. So, without further ado, here are my 5 favourite frugal things. So, number 1 on my list is a kind of movement towards simplicity. So when you embrace a frugal lifestyle, you automatically are looking to do things more cheaply, or you're looking to do things for free. And what tends to happen, what I've found has happened with me anyway, is that because the big days out that cost a fortune, taking the whole family to, I don't know, Alton Towers or somewhere, the kind of grand gestures, everybody going out to a restaurant, those are off the cards when you're trying to be frugal. For whatever reason, you've got other money goals. So you tend to then look to do other things. And what you tend to do then is more simple things. And then you find that these are things that you've been missing out on because, well, certainly for me anyway, I always liked a walk in nature. I've always liked that. But, you know, I was too busy, or we were doing something else, or we were going out spending money. So what I found is that just learning to appreciate nature, that might be a walk in the poppies, or that might be a walk in the woods or a trip to the coast. We're very lucky to be quite close to the coast here. Or become the simple things that you really treasure and really enjoy. And I really like that movement towards simplicity. We're always in a rush. We're always filling every bit of our time. So thinking about things that really enable you to relax. So for example, I love curling up with a book. I get books from the library, I get them very cheaply second hand, and just curling up, finding somewhere cosy or sitting out on the patio with a drink and reading a book. It's one of life's simple pleasures, doesn't really cost anything, and it's really nice. You can just make time for yourself and just say, well, I'm just going to have the whole evening and I'm going to have a really deep relaxing bath and maybe do a bit of yoga, maybe I'll do a manicure or pedicure or whatever you want to do, you know, just you can allow yourself that time, and that's quite precious when we're all so short of time. And I think that that's what I like about a frugal lifestyle. You tend to move towards simplicity. So number 2 on my list of favourite frugal things, and again it's kind of a lifestyle thing, is that when you embrace a frugal lifestyle, you tend to become more eco-friendly because you're just consuming less to start with, and perhaps you are repairing the things you've got rather than just automatically throwing them away and buying something else. So if you consume less, you use less of the world's resources. So the item that you just buy without thinking about it has used a lot of energy and materials in its production. It has created some pollution. It's then been packaged, probably in plastic. That's more resources there, and then more resources in terms of fuel, transporting it, and then finally you use it. It uses energy potentially if it's an electrical product, and then there's the end game when you think you've either had enough of it and you throw it away, or it's broken and you throw it away. So there's that whole thing that doesn't happen when you haven't consumed the item. So again, if you repair an item, so you've extended the life, doesn't happen as often. That whole process doesn't happen as often. If you buy second hand, it doesn't happen as often. And by not wasting stuff, be it food or anything else, and repairing what you have and that kind of thing, then it's all good for the environment. So being frugal makes you a natural eco-warrior. So I like that about frugality. Number 3 on my list. So I just mentioned buying second-hand. Number 3 on my list of favourite frugal things is to track down a bargain, a second-hand bargain. I look at the cost price of something new and I know that I could pay a fraction if I can track down that item second-hand. And I do that with pretty much everything. I spent a whole year in 2021 buying second-hand. I wasn't really new to the game. It wasn't a difficult challenge really. I'd already been trying to buy second-hand for years, but putting the absolute rule on it was really interesting. It meant I was buying things for people as gifts second-hand. That was my big challenge. My computer died, I bought a second-hand laptop, that kind of thing. Buying second-hand electricals and just buying everything second-hand. I love the thrill of the chase. I love going to boot sales and charity shops and looking online, and I love finding an absolute bargain. So that's number 3 on my list of favourite frugal things. So number 4, what I like about frugality is that it makes me channel my creativity to try and do more with less. So for example, a good example of this is Justin's aunt has moved away. Her old house was being cleared. There was an old bed that was pretty much on its last legs. I think initially his brother thought he might take the bed and use it, but it was on its last legs. So they completely bashed it to pieces and made 2 raised beds with this old bed. So, quite appropriate really. And so it stopped it being thrown away. We then didn't have to try and bear the cost of buying wood to make some raised beds or buy raised beds ready. It's just a bit of kind of upcycling. So I do that a lot with furniture as well, as you will know if you watch my channel regularly. So rather than buying a new piece of furniture, which would cost quite a lot of money, I upcycle, just buy some paint, which doesn't cost too much at all, no less than 20 quid, and you can completely upcycle a piece of wooden furniture, for example. Here's me upcycling an old mirror. I rubbed it down and sprayed it gold. I look out for vintage knobs to put on them. They can be mismatched, sometimes they do match. I look out for those in various places, and it just makes you really think about things, doesn't it? It makes you creative. Justin's so good at this because his mum's super frugal just naturally, and he's just kind of grown up that way. So, he won't think the watering can's had it. He will try and, mend it in some way. He taped up the sprinkler bit to keep it on. It's still going. It's been on there for about 2 years. He taped that up with really strong tape. Another watering can kind of started coming apart at the top, so he used bathroom sealant on that, and that was fine. That's also still going. There's various things you could do, just trying to just harness your creativity, as I say. So it's very satisfying to do that when you know that you've extended the life of something and you haven't had to buy something and you've made things look better. There's lots of different things you can do. There's just a couple of examples, but that is number 4 on my list. So the last thing on my list, number 5, is this. Before I took control of my finances, I was permanently anxious. I was always overdrawn. I didn't have a budget. I just randomly bought stuff if I needed it. I didn't think, do I have any money? I got myself into debt, not massive debt, but I was always in low-level debt. I was always anxious. If a big spend was required, then I was really anxious and it required more debt and a loan or something. And, it wasn't really any fun. And now I still don't have a lot of money, but I don't have any debts. I've got an emergency fund. If something major happens, I know that I can deal with that. If the car was to just completely die, I know I could buy myself another car. Things like that. If the boiler went, I could replace the boiler. So following a frugal lifestyle means that anxiety has gone. So, as I say, I don't have a lot of huge income, but I don't have any debt either. And that is really, it's very satisfying, but it's also just makes your life so much better. It improves the quality of your life so much when you're not anxious about money. One of my friends said, "Oh, you appear to live on fresh air," the other day. And I thought, well, not quite, but I still have to pay. We have to pay our council tax. We don't have a mortgage, but we have to pay all of our bills, especially the energy bills that are going up. We have to buy petrol. We have to pay for clothing. We have to pay for food. We do like to do some things that allow us to perhaps go on holiday and things like that. So we don't live on fresh air, but we do make the best of the money that we have by controlling it. And I think that's probably, out of all the things I've mentioned, that's the one that's the most important to me. So budgeting, having control, knowing that I can manage when times get tough, and they are getting tough, aren't they, for all of us? That is, I think, one of my favourite, well, the favourite of my 5 frugal things. So I hope that was interesting. It's I don't know how the others are going to do this. They might actually have objects that they look at as their favourite frugal things. I know there's certainly a few gadgets that save me money that I could have gone through, like my Kenwood mixer, it's a mixer and a food processor. That does save me money. My slow cooker, things like that. But when I started looking at it, I thought, no, it's really the concept of frugality that I would say are my favourite things, and the things that are most important to me. So I'd be really interested to see what you think in the comments. Do you have like 5 favourite things? What would you say? What would come to into your head straight away if you thought about that and you were asked that question? And as I said before, run over, go and look through those other videos. I'll leave all of their links below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and please like this video if you did enjoy it, and I would love to hear your views on this subject in the comments section below. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.